Welcome back. It's Kovacs Report. It's time for some more Giant Size Dark Phoenix Saga. So, as I said in my other video, this is the third Giant Size special that's out there celebrating 50 years of Giant Size X-Men. And it is supposed to be I don't know, a celebration, let's just say, of how impactful that book was. We've got Kamala Khan as the central character throughout the X-Men story. And this is part two, the first part being in the Giant Size X-Men that came out the week or so ago, which I reviewed, and you can check that out. So here we go. So I'm going to go through the book page by page. I'm going to give you my thoughts. But before that happens, hit subscribe. It really, really helps the channel. I really appreciate it. Give us a like if you like the video. Let's dive in straight away. So we dive in straight away and we get this sort of like preface of, the Dark Phoenix and how powerful the Dark Phoenix is. And we get Legion, who is the villain of this story. Although it's a different Legion. Legion is traditionally Charles Xavier's son, but David, that part of the Legion, is out of the body, and it's these millions of other souls that are trapped in the body. So there's this huge amount of souls, and they are now in control. David is no longer there. That hasn't been explained how that's happened. If you don't know anything about the X-Men, like I don't know about this story anyway, maybe it's been explained in a previous story of how he exited the body, but it isn't explained here, at least. And Legion is going through various points in X-Men history, all right, for some nefarious need that we don't know just yet. And we just so happened to be in the Dark Phoenix Saga part of the history. So Kamala was beamed back into the past in the previous part of the story. Now she's been beamed forward, not quite her current time, but forward from that point where the X-Men were battling the Dark Phoenix. So this is all set within the actual continuity. They've just dropped in Kamala, all right? So it's like a what if Kamala was there, except this is, I guess, canon. So that's exactly where we left off. So Kamala comes out of the bush like Homer Simpson, and she's angry. So she socks Miss Jean Grey as the Dark Phoenix, and they have this little tete-a-tete. There's a big fight. I'm going to paraphrase a lot of this book because, again, right, and I'm really sorry to be negative, it's just so throwaway. I have no idea why Marvel is wasting an amazing opportunity to do something really special with this celebration and a story that could have some real impact, something that the fans go, wow, that was incredible. But it really, really isn't. It really just feels like a vehicle to remind you of some of the historic parts of X-Men story and, again, force Kamala to the forefront. So the dialogue throughout this book, again, is very 1960s. I guess they're trying to mimic the time when these books came out. It has that 60s, 70s or 80s feel, whatever. It just feels old. It doesn't feel like it fits. It doesn't feel this story is built on the nostalgia by the way the people are talking. It just is. It doesn't work for me. It might work for you. It doesn't work for me. But anyway, but Legion, he's turned up now. He's decided to turn up. And what he wants to do is he wants to take the Dark Phoenix, the Phoenix Force, away from Jean Grey because he needs it for some reason, okay? And then we get all these little moments where there's loads of exposition and explanation, and he tears the Phoenix Force out of Jean and she falls to the ground. Of course, Kamala saves her from falling on the floor. And then he flies off. He flies off into space where there is a huge armada amassing, I guess, from Captain Marvel or other forces that know something's going on. I guess that ties in with the story, the original story, which I haven't read for many, many years. And then we jump back to Xavier's mansion where the X-Men are talking about Jean. As she walks in, she hears something but she doesn't like hearing. It upsets her. She goes to bed. And of course, Kamala, who's wise beyond her years. Again, this is a young girl, right? She goes and gives Jean Grey a pep talk you'd expect from someone who's much, much older, right? And this is more about Kamala and how cool she is and how kind she is and how thoughtful, and intuitive she is than Jean Grey. Jean's suffering with the fact that she has this terrible force, and this terrible force, and her, I guess, caused the death of millions of people in that original storyline. And it just doesn't land. None of this lands for me. None of it resonates with me. And then we find a little bit about Legion, right? He wants David back. He wants that mind back in the body, maybe to control. It's kind of hinted at maybe that he says, like, this is what happens when we're in control. We want you back. We want what was once inside here. But it's kind of ambiguous as to why. Right? I mean, why does it want it back? If you're now free to do whatever you want, why would you want someone back controlling you? I don't know. I mean, this whole story could be summed up with one dialogue box that's in this. Okay, and I'm going to read this one dialogue box. What a load of bollocks. That is what Legion said, not me. But I tell you what, it's never been more relevant. Okay, anyway. Oh, during Kamala's pep talk with Jean Grey, Jean gets this blast. She knows that Legion's coming back. Legion knows what it needs now. Legion knows how to take over to do this nefarious thing. It knows what it needs. It needs Kamala. Doesn't explain why it needs Kamala. It's coming back for Kamala. Now, it's got the Phoenix Force, probably one of the most dangerous, most powerful forces in the universe, right? And that's not enough to get David back. It needs Kamala. So then there's this showdown. We get more of that dialogue, which just doesn't fit. I mean, the art's lovely enough, you know. Let's just say something positive about it. But the art's lovely, right? I love the painted feel. It's really, really nice. It's nice to see these characters in their classic costumes, in a classic story that we all love. But that's about the extent of it. So there's this throwdown. And the X-Men start dying one by one. There's some nice panels where we see them all die. And Jean Grey and Miss Marvel, they've run off because they've got this plan B, which we don't know about. And sure enough, plan B happens or tries to happen. And Legion turns up with the power of the Phoenix Force. And she instantly, with power she cannot control or fully understand yet, she shields him in a bubble containing him, but she's only contained him, not the Phoenix Force, right? So the Phoenix Force is going to come out of this field that Kamala is strong enough, right, to contain it for that long. This most powerful force, which to me just sounds bizarre. There's no way, right? There's no way you're going to get me to believe Kamala can contain the Phoenix Force at any amount of time. This is one of the most dangerous forces in the known universe and unknown universe for that fact, right? So sure enough, that bubble breaks and it gives Jean Grey a time to take back the Phoenix Force. And then Phoenix Force and Jean Grey together again fly off. And of course, with a snap of her fingers, she activates these weapons that are on the moon that used to be there that could kill a Sentinel, and fires it at herself, killing her and getting rid of the Phoenix Force, much like probably what happened in the original. I honestly can't remember how it all ended. I know there's some great sacrifice, and that was probably what it was. But anyway, Legion's really unhappy with this because it's foiled his plan. So he grabs Kamala and he takes her into the future, but he's taken the wrong future. He's taken her to a future where Apocalypse is king. And that's it. That's the story. Now, again, I'm just not digging it. I'm really not digging it at all. I'd rather reread the original Dark Phoenix saga. Like it's just so easy way out of telling a decent story here. This book is throwawayable. Now, if this is giant size series is supposed to have some longer lasting effects on the X-Men or the Marvel Universe as a whole, it's not going about it the right way. I mean, other than the art being really lovely, you know, it's nice. There's no story here. There's no story here at all. Basically, they wanted to say, right, what's cool about the X-Men? Well, these key events are really cool. Let's revisit those. And that's fine. That's okay. That's cool. It's been done before. It could be done again and still be great. But Kamala's doing it. Kamala's doing it. There's characters that, I'll be honest with you, who cares? Right? Honestly, if I'm wrong, tell me in the comments if you really care about Kamala. I'm sure we'll have one. But on the whole, no one cares. Right? You expect a different character to be, you know, that pinnacle of this story, to be the important character that is going to change or fix or save the history. So it's not landing for me. And I guess so far there's been 3 of these books and all 3 of them have been, in my opinion, throwawayable. And again, I really, really hate doing negative reviews, but I want to be honest about it. So those are generally my thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I'm open to hear other people's opinions. This is just mine. So if you're loving this book, I think it's great because you know what? I love books other people don't. But those are my thoughts. Let me know yours. And hopefully I haven't upset you so much you don't come back. And I'll see you in the next video.